and be the way we want to be, to align ourselves with what it is we prefer or how we prefer to be. Rituals imbue our life with a sense that our day-to-dayness is more than our day-to-dayness. It gives us a sense that our life, that we, as we are, is sacred. And during this pandemic, these tiny rituals have become really, really important. So I just wanted to share with you why I call what we do a ritual. So let's begin with our loving ritual of sitting away from the back of your chair, putting a block or a cushion behind you if you would like the support to help you sit up straight and tall, to lift your heart and feel everything open up here even before you begin. Line up your knees with your hips or slightly wider. Line up your knees over your ankles and line up your big toes and the outer edges of your feet to be parallel with the walls. Sometimes it's easier to just line up the big toes, and that puts you in a good position. So everything we do makes a difference. And then line up your nose and your chin with your belly button. Relax your hands on your thighs, palms up or palms down. And I invite you, as I always do, to close your eyes so that you may access the relaxation response that lives in your body, but that we tend to ignore and deny because we're always in the sympathetic nervous system, the fight, the flight, the flee. And just allow yourself this moment of closing the eyes to let go of everything around you, basically. To begin your journey from the inside out. And I invite you to scan that inside from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, the tips of your fingers, to become aware of how you're feeling, what you're feeling, and where you're feeling it. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how and what are you feeling today, and where in your body are you feeling it? No judging, no criticizing. It's the good and the not so good. It's the good and the annoying. It's the strong and the weak. It's all of it. And with this information, I invite you to ask yourself, what would I like to receive from yoga this morning? What would I like to receive from yoga this morning? Remembering that it can be anything. It can be strength, it can be flexibility of body or of mind. It can be calm, it could be focus, it could be relaxation, it could be anything. Choose the one that best fits for you this morning. And if it seems hard to make a choice, because sometimes it is, sometimes there's so much going on that it's hard to cut through to that one, then let the question be your one. And place it behind your heart. And with your intention and attention, let it radiate to the soles of your feet, the crown of your head, the tips of your fingers, so that your whole self is alive and your whole self is guided by your intention for this morning's practice. Now notice your breathing. Notice where you feel the sensations of breathing in. Notice where you feel the sensations of breathing out. and allow your breath. First of all, allow yourself to receive your breath. And secondly, allow your breath to direct your movements, to lead your movements. Now, almost always when we begin, we start with our head or something in the upper body. So today I thought we would start with our feet. So I invite you to open your eyes if you haven't done so already. And just look at your feet, make sure they're still there, and lift your toes, and then put them back down. And then lift your toes again, and put them back down. And do this 3 or 4 more times, remembering that we all do the best we know how. We do what we can do on any given day at any given moment. And when you finish the one you're on, just pause here for a moment. And now you might walk your heels in a little bit closer to you. And now lift your heels. So you're coming up onto your toes. And place them back down. And do this a few more times. Doesn't have to, in fact, don't be fast about it. Take your time. And when you finish the one you're on, just pause. And now let's lift one knee at a time. So we're kind of marching in place. So one of the muscle groups that we use when we're marching are abdominals. So as you lift, become aware of what's happening deep in your belly. Trust the wisdom of your body as best you can. And now when you've done each foot evenly, come back to your center. Begin to breathe in. Begin to breathe out. Draw your navel to your spine and lift and straighten your right leg and point and flex that foot. And now put that foot back down. Breathe in. On the exhale, draw your navel to your spine, lift your other leg, point and flex. A few times. And then put that foot back down. Breathing in. When you exhale, draw your navel to your spine, lift your first leg again. And this time, let's make circles with our ankles. First in one direction, then in the other direction, and then put that foot back down. And let's pause for a breath in and a breath out before we begin again. So on your next exhale, draw your navel to your spine, lift your other leg, and make ankle circles with that. First in one direction, and then in the other direction. And let's put that foot down. Open your knees as wide as you can. And lift your right arm, reaching up. And then exhale it down. Inhale your left arm, reaching up. Exhale, turn the palm away, let it come down. Inhale the right arm, palm up, reaching up. Exhaling the palm facing away, letting it come down. Keeping your heart lifting as you do that. So with the inhale, you lift an arm with the palm facing up. With the exhale, you turn the palm away, you let your arm come down. Taking your time. We'll do 3 on each side. 1 at a time, Mary. Hey, I can see you. And then let your hands come down. And now we'll do both. So now inhale, reach both hands up. Clasp your hands as best you can. And if this isn't possible, clasp your hands in front of you. So do what works for you. Press your palms away. And again, if now it's accessible for you to bring your hands over your head, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just reach your palms away from you. Honor your body. And breathe. And now relax your hands down. And just pause here for a moment. Begin to breathe in, reach your hands up to the sky. When you exhale, fold from your waist. We're making our sunflowers. So we go over to the left and down. And we pause right here to breathe, begin to breathe in. And then we float up. Pause. Exhaling. Over to the left and down. Pause. Inhaling to the right and up. Exhaling to the left and down. Inhaling to the right and up. Just let your upper body float over your legs. Let your whole torso start to feel energized and waking up. And now finish the one you're on, and we'll reverse the circles. But we stay with the same breath. So you breathe in and you move in the up direction and pause. You breathe out, and you move to the side and down, and you pause again. And when you finish the one you're on, let your hands float down. And now in this, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see better what I'm talking about. We've done this before, but I would really like to focus on it today. So you can keep your knees open, and I'm going to sit forward a little bit so that you can see, tuck my shirt in, so perhaps you can see even better. So all we're going to do is tilt the top of the pelvis forward and then tilt the top of the pelvis back. And it seems like it should be simple, and it's not always simple. So that's all. You're basically rocking your pelvis. So the top of the pelvis rocks forward, the top of the pelvis rocks back. Okay? We'll do that a few more times. You can keep your hands on your thighs. Just to get the sensation of the pelvis leading the movement, because since the spine is attached to the pelvis, as the pelvis moves, it frees the spine to move. And that's really what we're looking to do, is to free the body to move in its healthiest, best way. Okay, so let's come back to a neutral position. And this is where cat and cow comes in, but I've really been focusing the last year on letting the pelvis lead cat and cow. So you can try it with your knees open, see how that works, but begin to breathe in, let the pelvis tilt forward, and lift your heart. Begin to breathe out, let the pelvis tilt back, and then feel how your back instinctively rounds. So by letting the pelvis lead, we're letting the body follow its natural rhythms. So if it helps, when you breathe in and your pelvis tilts forward, you can pull your fingertips against your knees to help you lift your heart. And then when you exhale, the first thing you do is let the pelvis tilt backwards, and then you can push your heels into your hand, and the back will round, and you can let your head hang. So you're moving slowly, you're moving at your pace, and you're moving with attention to what's happening in the body. So when we switch off or we reframe how we do things and we begin doing them with attention on a new thing, it takes more of our attention. And this is a good thing, because otherwise we just go through the motions, and that's where ritual comes in. It's setting an intention and putting all of our attention there. So let's do one more. And now when you come up to your seated position, to your neutral spine, if you brought your legs back together or toward each other, I invite you to separate them again. Inhale, reach your hands up high. When you exhale, let your pelvis, the right side of your pelvis, come forward as your body then follows, turning to the left. And let your hands come down. Your left hand is behind you, your right hand is in front of you, or if it's comfortable, put it on your left knee. How'd I do? And again, follow your next lead. If it's comfortable for you to turn your chin towards your back shoulder, feel free to do that. Otherwise, just go somewhere in between the midline to the shoulder. Breathing here, letting yourself relax in the pose, soften in the pose. And now inhaling, coming back up into the center. Exhaling, let your pelvis shift. See, my knee is even turning in a little bit. Let that happen if that's what your body wants to do. Right hand behind you, left hand in front of you, or holding on to your right knee. Turning your chin towards your back shoulder if that's comfortable, or just letting it be in line with your belly button or somewhere in between. Soften into the pose. Relax that left buttock, the one that's coming forward. And on the next inhale, reach up, come back to the center. Exhale one more time, let that right pelvis, right side of the pelvis come forward. Sorry, leave your left hand up in the air. And when you exhale, just float over toward that right leg. It doesn't have to be far. Reach the left buttock into the chair so you're lengthening the full left side. And actually, when you bring your left buttock down, it's evening out the pelvis, because we tend to lift that side of the pelvis when we do that. Inhaling, coming back up, both hands into the sky. Exhaling, moving to the other side. Left hand on your leg or in between. Right hand up and just floating over to the left. A gentle float. Relax your left buttock. Press your right buttock into the chair. On your next inhale, hands up, come back to the center. Keep your heart lifting. Let your hands float down. Pause here for a breath in and a breath out, just to let things settle in. And now let's turn to the left side and sit so that the back of your left knee is against the seat of the chair and your foot is either on the floor, or if the floor is too far away, you have a book or a block underneath, so you're supporting yourself. You don't want your foot hanging in the air. And for the moment, hang on to the back of the chair, but we're not staying here. We're going to stretch this right leg out straight or further back, if that's accessible to you, as far back as you can. Turning to face your left knee. Inhale, reach your hands up. Exhale, bend your elbows to goalpost arms and reach your elbows back toward each other. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, elbows back. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, elbows back. And then relax your hands down, and I want you to notice something about your pelvis. In this position, the top is tilting forward, and that's exactly what we want it to do. That's what it does, and so we want to honor what it's doing. So one more time, reach your hands up. Only this time, when you exhale, turn a quarter turn toward the camera with just your upper rib, like your ribs and up, and then bring your arms out into a T so your hands are just below shoulder height. And look out over your front hand. And breathe here, in and out. And now relax your hands down. And bring your hands to your waist or to one to the chair. And let's experiment a little bit. This back leg. Let yourself take your hand on your thigh and very gently, so you're just directing the leg to go where it wants and needs to go, is rotate the thigh a little bit to the right. And I hope when you do that, you feel a little bit more strength there, because your pelvis is going in one direction and the leg is going in a different direction. Not far, but a little bit. And that can make a difference to the strength that you experience. And when you do that, you might also feel your heel pushing down a little bit, not because you're making it, but just because that's what happens. So breathe in here, and on the next exhale, let that right knee, I hope I wasn't saying left, but I hope you knew what I meant. Let that right knee float down to the ground. Remember to put something underneath your right foot if that makes it more comfortable for you. And you're just facing straight ahead, letting your right arm relax, putting your left arm on the back of the chair, reaching your left buttock into the chair so that your left side is straight and you're not making a C toward the back of the chair. Tilt the top of your pelvis back, just like we did when we were doing cat and cow before. Remember, when you do that, the sensation tends to be here. This is exactly what we're looking for. We want to soften this area. Feel your breath and visualize your breath moving up and down that space. Breathe one more time in and then out. Bring your hand behind your right thigh. Come forward in your chair, centered in your chair for a couple of breaths. In fact, you can even close your eyes and let yourself feel what might be some more of that unevenness of your body, and let it be all right. And now I invite you to open your eyes, to turn to your right side. Just sit so that if you need it, you have a block under your under your foot. And that the back of your knee is against the seat of the chair. Stretch your right leg out and back as best you can. Notice your pelvis, how it's tilting. The top of the pelvis is tilting forward. Inhale, reach your hands up, palms face each other. Exhale, bend your elbows and open up your chest. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, just let your hands float down to give them a rest for a moment. Inhale, reach up. And this time when you exhale, again, we're twisting from the ribs up, a quarter turn to the left toward the computer or whatever device you're using. And your hands are just below shoulder height in their T. In this position, see if you can take this left thigh a little bit to the left and see what happens. This is an experiment. Let's be curious. And take your gaze over your front hand to feel your strength through your whole body. Breathing in, and on the exhale, relaxing your hands down, taking your hand behind you so that you can help that knee forward and coming to our psoas softener on that side. Letting the knee float down, the pelvis, top of the pelvis tilting back. Maybe walking that left foot out a little bit, just a smidgen, and makes it a little bit more intense here. So if you don't want to do that, feel free not to. And visualizing your breath just below your rib cage to just above your kneecap. Letting the breath bring its softness. Letting the breath soothe that muscle group so that it lengthens. And then it allows lengthening to happen through the whole body. Allows us to breathe more deeply, allows us to digest more freely. And on your next exhale, bring your left hand behind your thigh and come back to a seated position right in the middle of your chair. Pause right here for a few breaths in and out. And now, with or without the cushion behind your back, I invite you to scoot yourself forward, hold on to the back of your chair, let your knees point down toward the ground, even if it's just a little bit, and then lean against the back of your chair and let your hands, if you feel safe and comfortable, let your hands go. If you'd rather hold on to the back of the chair, let yourself do that. This is my version of a pose that's called Virasana. And in the floor version of yoga, we would do it this way, where we would sit on a couple of blocks and we would allow the knees to be open. This just, actually the way we do it in the chair opens more than, I think, opens more than this does. Because in the chair, you get to lean back a little bit, and that contributes to all of this, being able to let go. So we'll just stay here for a few more breaths, and while you're there, let yourself be there. Let yourself relax, let yourself soften. It's nicer with a cushion behind you, but if you don't have one there, it's okay. If it's comfortable for you, you can let your head go back. If you're taking care of your neck, you can let your chin come forward. Just let yourself breathe and be. Now, one at a time, take a hand behind the thigh to pull that foot and leg forward, and then do the other one. And now we'll do our shoulder rolls, which we usually do at the beginning. Beginning to breathe in, bring your shoulders forward and up. Beginning to breathe out, bring your shoulders back and down. And I invite you to close your eyes so that you can just luxuriate in the movements of your body, of the breath leading you, and of feeling everything there is to feel as you move your shoulders forward and up and back and down. We'll do that one more time together. And then just relax your hands on your thighs, soften your throat and your jaw, breathe in. On the exhale, turn your chin towards your left shoulder. Breathe in. On the exhale, bring your chin back to the center and then over to the right. Breathe in. Exhaling, bring your chin to the center and then over to the left, and then take your left hand against your right cheek. Gently press your cheek as you press your head into your hand. You're just creating a little bit of resistance. Breathe in. On the exhale, relax your hand down. Let your chin travel toward the right shoulder. Bring your right hand to your left cheek and gently press your face as you press your hand to your cheek as you press your face into your hand. Breathe in. Exhale, relax your hand down. Bring your chin back to the center. Take your hand to your forehead, or both hands if you want. Press your forehead into your hands and your hands into your forehead. For a breath in and a breath out. Release. Bring your hands behind your head. Press your head into your hands into your head. Release. Bring your hands under your chin. Press your chin down into your hands and your hands into your chin. Release. Bring your hands to the top of your head. Press your head down as you press your head up into your hands. And release. And then if it feels good to rock your chin side to side or move your head toward your shoulders, feel free to do that. I'm surprised you can't hear me cracking at this point. And now, if you haven't already done so, put the block or the cushion behind your back so that you can lovingly set yourself up for Shavasana. This is, again, one of our rituals of self-care, aligning yourself so that you're taking care of yourself, aligning yourself so that you're honoring your heart of hearts. Relax your hands on your thighs in whatever way is comfortable for you. If you have a strap nearby and you want to put it around your thighs, that'll also help all of this hip area relax. But if you don't, it's okay. And I invite you to breathe with me for a few breaths. Breathe a couple of your normal breaths in and out. And now breathe a slow, long, even, deep breath in. And a slow, long, even, deep breath out. Breathe 1 or 2 or 3 of your normal breaths in and out. Breathe a slow, long, even, deep breath in. And a slow, long, even, deep breath out. Let's do that one more time. 1 or 2 or 3 of your normal breaths in and out. And now a slow, long, even, deep breath in. And a slow, long, even, deep breath out. Now I invite you to count your breath, like in 1, out 1, not that fast. In 2, out 2, until you get to 10, and then start again. And if you don't get to 10, because your mind took you someplace else, without judging or shaming or criticizing yourself, bring yourself back to your breath, to your counting. And notice whatever there is to notice about what happens to your breathing. invite you to become aware of your breath one more time. To simply notice without judging, shaming, criticizing, changing, and to just rest here for a few more breaths. Welcome your whole self. The parts that work less, the parts that seem not to work at all, but may be working in some other mysterious fashion, in some capacity other than that in which we'd like them to work. Embrace them. Cradle them as you would a young child, lovingly, caressingly, filled with joy at their presence in your life. I invite you to draw a very deep breath all the way to the soles of your feet, to pause in the fullness of your breath, and now slowly, slowly, slowly let your breath out. Pardon me. Letting it carry away with it any remaining tension or tightness of the mind, body, spirit. And pause lovingly in the stillness. When you begin breathing in, if you still have your glasses on, take them off. Rub your hands rigorously together to generate some heat. Cup your hands gently over your eyes and receive the warmth from your hands and your eyes and their sockets, your cheekbones, your jawbone, all the way down to your heart. Place a smile behind your eyes, behind your lips, behind your heart, and receive the softness that moves into your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Bring your palms together in front of your heart so that we might honor ourselves and each other with the word that's used throughout the Himalayas to say hello and goodbye, and which means the light that is me honors the light that is you. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. How are you feeling?
Oh, fabulous.
Good.